everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got Ponytails. This is my wife's daily driver. It's a 2008 Mustang. We bought it brand new with 31 miles on the odometer. I just turned 98,000 on the way to the shop. It's been an awesome car. Haven't really had any problems out of it to speak of. With the exception of one reoccurring problem. Any of you that have had these cars or done research into these cars probably know what I'm about to get into, especially being that it's getting cold out. It's not only limited to the Mustangs. I've heard them on Ford Expeditions and Explorers. I think I've see people talk about them on F-150s, and I'm not sure about on the other cars, but what I'm talking about is the electronic actuators on the heating system and air conditioning system. Basically, they're plastic geared motors that activate either your temperature valve or your blend door or your recirculation valve. I've already replaced the heater blend, the heat blend, once, and that was we're a couple days past a 5-year mark where I replaced it. I had a Facebook memory pop up 2 days ago showing the interior of this car. It looked like it had exploded. Telling my wife I think her car declared war. And I think when I was replacing it, I think I cussed out just about every engineer that had his hands on that design. They're a common problem. Heat cycles, the plastic breaks, and it eventually sounds like you have Woody Woodpecker up underneath the dashboard, and not that. So basically what I'm going to be into today is going back into it, replacing it again. I have replaced the diverter valve, or diverter motor, which sends it to the defrost and floor and vents. I've replaced that before. That one's actually fairly easy. If I'm remembering right, I have to pull out some parts, kind of like I've got to pull the glove box out. I've got to pull this panel here out. I've got to pull the radio and the faceplate out, and to get to that I think I have to actually pull the shifter cover off. So it's not going to be a fun thing, and I'm going to try to keep this clean so families can watch this. And if I do kind of slip up, I'll try to remember to take it out on edit. So follow along and we'll get started. Let me get everything cleaned up and out of the way, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, just a little side note. When you order these, you might want to make sure what you're getting, because there's 3 different ones. 2 of them look alike and 1 don't, and they don't always label them right. I got this off of the Dorman website, and it said this was supposed to be for the temperature actuator door. And what I have, I've got the other one out. It wasn't as bad as I remembered. I was able to get up in there with just a couple screws. And what I've got is one with the arm. Now the one that they sent me is one with a little gear. I didn't have to grab it, so let me grab it real quick. And don't be fooled by just looking at the outsides, because if you look, they look identical from the outside. What you have to look at is the inside. That's the old one, that's the new one. See my problem? See the dilemma? Ford, why didn't you just make it simple and make the same thing for all 3? So I'm going to have to step back and punt and go home and order another one, and hopefully I'll get the right one this time. I guess I didn't remember that this had the arm on it. So always see if you can get in there and look, because the listings won't always be right, and you'll save a lot of headaches. Today just didn't happen to be all that great. I live about 25 miles from the shop that I do all this in, and got out here this morning and realized I had forgotten my key in my other vehicle. So I had to come all the way home, and on top of that had to search for all my cameras and what forth. It really kind of sucks when you're going through a kitchen remodel and you have stuff scattered all over the house. So hopefully we'll save this for the when we get the right one in, we can edit this in, and we'll just go from there. All right, we'll talk to you then, guys. Hopefully everything will go smoother next time. Hopefully I'll have a charge on the cameras, enough memory in the cameras, I remember my keys, and everything else holds out for us. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Guys, we're back here on Ponytails. We're gonna try a take two on this this actuator, and just to give you a good idea what you're actually gonna be hearing. Let's turn that off. The sound of Mustang frustration and the hate for engineers everywhere. If you go right up here, I've already gotten the glove box out. Now we'll go up underneath here. And what you want to do is you've got a bolt right here on this brace. You've got another right there. You'll take those two off. There's the connector right there. Right there. You'll take that loose. And then on the back side, there's these little clips right here. There's I think 4 or 5 of them along the bottom, and then there's a couple up top that you'll push up. They've got a little step on them that you'll push up, and that whole thing will come out. Alright, I've got it out. Get a little light on the subject here. And my camera angle isn't all that great. It's really hard for me to see in here. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get. Alright, you see that little that little lever right here, kind of in the middle of the light, upper left, that is actually what actuates the door. It moves it back and forth. Put this camera in here and get a better look. This moves back and forth, and your arm sets right in the middle of that. So this is going to be where your research comes to pay. Got the other one in. This is the first time I've had the old one out to compare it. So, what we've got, this is the old one, this is the new one. They look identical here, look identical here. Unfortunately, they look identical here. So, they're actually both Dorman products. And let's go ahead and get it back in. This right here is the arm that goes in that little lever that you saw with the hole in it, that will actually cause that to pivot back and forth as this rotates back and forth. And that's what actually gives you your defrost or your foot level or your vents. So let's get this back in. I'll see if I can get my camera in at a good angle and see if we can get you guys dialed in and show you how to do this. Can't even really tell if I'm going in the right spot here. No, I'm trying to go in the wrong hole. There we go, that seems to work a little better. And we've got this one up here in the corner. Which I don't have lined up. And that just popped up. Oh, great. Oh, and I just dropped a screw somewhere. Alright, hold on. Other thing, guys, one thing you may want to do is when you take the old one out, mark that one. Let yourself know which one, because I actually dropped the bolt. I set this down and went to find the bolt, and in the process forgot which one was which. Luckily, I got the right one installed the first time. Sometimes you can tell one looks newer than the other. This is only about 5 years old, I think it is. So in the life of the car, it hasn't been in that long. So it still actually looked new. All the numbers were the same, since it's the same manufacturer. Everything looked the same on it. So, like I said, luckily, I got the right one in. And like I said, the airbag did not have to come out. handy because if you're on your back looking up, you really don't have a lot of visualization on where this arm right here goes. Whereas if you take that airbag out, you can almost look directly in and reach the screws, reach the connector, get this lined up, and get these holes lined up where they need to be. So sometimes taking a few things extra apart leads to a whole lot easier job. Sometimes taking extra things apart is useless or makes things even more complicated. You have to figure that out on what's best for your situation. So, moment of truth. I've got the airbag set in here loosely. I've gotten the actuator set in place. I really couldn't get a good camera angle. And another curse to engineers that, you know, when you drop a screw and you can't find where it goes, you pull apart a couple things to find it and still can't find it. Yeah, that's why mechanics hate engineers so much. But let's go ahead. I've got the battery hooked back in. I've got the airbag loosely set in and connected up so it doesn't set an alarm code or an SRS code, airbag code. But we'll turn the key on and we're going to verify everything works. We don't have any more pops or clicks. Let's go ahead and start it. And we're just going to cycle. Turn that on so you can actually hear it. And before we were hearing that pop, pop, pop on every setting as it adjusted. That's just the plastic gears inside that motor. And it sounds like everything's working the way it's supposed to. We've got air up on the vents. We switch this over. It switches to the floor vents. We switch it over here to the regular vents. And we've got air coming out those vents. Turn the heat over to air to cold. I can actually feel a difference because for some reason that actuator will move as you're adjusting the temperature. I guess that's part of the air conditioning. So I don't know, I'm not sure on the technical aspects of that, but just double check everything just to make sure, you know, so when you button everything up, you're good. So I'll get everything buttoned up and be right back. I'm gonna take it out, get it on the road, make sure all the heat functions are right, because she was complaining about excessive heat coming through the vents. So it may be a completely unrelated event. It may have been something where the actuator was mixed up and not working right. So take it out, let the computer relearn itself since the battery was unhooked for a while. So I'm gonna get out of here. I've got some more stuff coming. So, you know, this was I'm doing these to help the average person that may not know if they can do this or not. So if I've inspired you guys to actually get out and do it, you know, this may not have been the easiest, but it's not a hard one if you take your time and, you know, follow the steps. Anything with electrical, it's always best to disconnect the battery first, no matter what, because you never know if you're going to arc something over and short something out and possibly create a fire or set an airbag off. In this case, you know, where we the airbag out. But if I've helped anybody to find the strength to try this themselves, then my job is done. You know, that's what I'm here for. Is, you know, I'm an average guy. I used to work on cars for a living, but I was never all that greatest mechanic or technician. You know, and I like working on my own stuff. You know, and I'm sure some of you can't really afford the shop rates that are going around nowadays. And it's not all, don't blame the mechanics on that. That's the shop that helps cover their overhead, and you're also paying for experience. This job right here, if you took it to the dealership, you'd probably be looking about, you know, a few $100 at least, if not more than that. But you're also paying for experience. And the way they do things there is it's called flat rate, where if a job pays so much, you get paid so much. Whether you do with a technician does it in a half an hour and it pays an hour, or if he does it in an hour and a half and it pays an hour, he still gets paid that hour, whether he does it quicker or longer. So it's not always in the mechanic's benefit. We've got more projects. I've got something similar on the Cadillac I've got to do. I've got one actuator that's not working right, and it's a system that I'm not really familiar with. So we'll both kind of learn on that. I've got some engine work to do. I've got some project cars to do. I've actually got some projects in the house I'm working on, so hopefully we'll get some of that involved as well. You know, do me a favor, you know, if you like what you see, subscribe, hit that like button, you know, thumbs up or thumbs down, whether you like it or not. Feel free to make any kind of comments you like, you know, keep it clean, please, but positive or negative, you know, I'm new to this, so, you know, maybe we can learn together. Until we do this again, we'll talk to you soon.